Hello and welcome back everybody, it's me MB, and yes, this is another video from me. I've been waiting a little bit more than 1 month to release another video. This has a couple of reasons, but I don't want to come up with stupid excuses or lame excuses. I want to talk about if cluster jewel crafting is still a thing, what cluster jewels we can still craft to make profit, and how to actually craft cluster jewels now that alteration orbs and scouring orbs are skyrocketed in price. So without further ado, let's start with the content, guys. So first of all, is cluster jewel crafting still a thing? And is it still profitable? And both answers are yes, of course. Cluster jewel crafting is still a thing and it is still profitable. And I'll show you what you have to look for. Every one of you has heard about the current meta, which is pretty much aura stacking in all shapes and forms. If it's self-casting, if it's wand attacking, if it's minions, it's aura stacking all and over the place. So what we want to do is craft those nasty cluster jewels that these guys need for their builds. So the base item that we are looking for is the medium cluster jewel with increased effect of non-curse auras. And it has to be item level 68, sorry, and it needs to have at least 6 passive skills, which is the maximum for medium cluster jewels. Yes, it needs to have 6, not 4, not 5, it has to be 6. Why is this the case? Aura stackers want to stack as much aura effect as possible, and this can be achieved by just pumping more passive skills or passive nodes to the cluster jewel. So this might be the exception of all the other medium cluster jewels. You want to have the maximum number of passives on there. This is important. And you can see that the base item that you want to buy or that you need to buy is pretty expensive. It's at least this one should be exalted, I guess. It's 1.5 exalted. And I bought 6 today, all in the range from 1 to 1.7 exalted each. So that's the cost of those. But I can show you something really quick. When you hit like replenishing and first among equals, which is not as hard as you might think, it's pretty easy, then those cluster jewels sell for, let's say, a little bit more than 2.5 exalted. So that's easy profit. How common are these mods? I can show you really quick. The first among equals, no, I'll start with the replenishing. That's 3.4%, it's a prefix, and the first among equals is 6.8, so this is pretty likely to hit. The combination of those two isn't super rare. As you can see, I have already prepared my search on the trade website of Path of Exile. For example, if you hit something like Pure Might and Replenishing, easy for Exalted. Or I'd say when I look them up, even the offline ones from the last day, easy for Exalted, guys. That's pretty much what you can, yeah, what you get for such cluster jewels. They are expensive. So as you can see, I have 2 of those cluster jewels with 6 passive skills. It's the increased aura effect on both of them. It's 83 item level right here and 82 right here. So We used to craft these cluster jewels with alteration orbs. So pretty much transmute and alt slam until you hit something, and then you have to regal to hit something additional, and so on and so forth. Currently, the prices for scoring orbs and alteration orbs, not for regals and not for transmutes and such, but alteration orbs and scoring orbs are pretty expensive currently. So you have to buy, no, you can buy 3 alteration orbs for 1 chaos. And I have to check for the scoring orbs really quick. I'm not prepared, sorry. So there we go. Scoring orbs, insanely expensive. You have to pay 1 chaos for 2 scoring orbs. That's insanely expensive. Alteration orbs, as I mentioned before, 3 alteration orbs for 1 chaos, and all the other crafting materials, regal orbs are cheap, and well, no need to worry about that. But that's what I want to mention. So as alteration orbs and scoring orbs are so expensive at the current state of the league, is there maybe a better option to just easily craft those cluster jewels? Wait, yes, there's one. And it might sound a little bit weird, and for those of you who have never done this before, it's weird to do this. I know it's a currency that you love and that you like to have, but what we will do to craft those is we slam our chaos orbs on them. And the reason why is because the chances are pretty high that we actually get something good out of it, and I'll show you this. Hopefully I will be able to finish my 2 cluster jewels with just my 100 chaos left here. So let's just start right away. And while I do this, I can talk about this a little. So this one, for example, self-control and replenishing isn't too bad. Took me 3 chaos orbs, and I will pretty much look them up as I speak, and I'll show you the result, of course. So self-control and replenishing with this cluster jewel would be too exalted. Actually, it might sell a little bit lower than this, but I bought this cluster jewel for 1x, and I could pretty much sell it for 1.5, I guess, 1.615, but I won't. I just keep rolling on this. But you see, it with these types of items, it kind of depends how expensive or how cheap you can actually buy the base. So this one I bought for 1 exalted, which was insanely cheap, and the other one is for 1.5 exalted. So no matter what happens, I can almost guarantee that I will profit with this. So let's continue. Self-control, uncompromising, winter commander, first among equals, precise commander. Precise commander has been nerfed in this league, so it is no longer that good. Yes, and this is how it goes. You just slam your chaos orbs until you don't have any more. And oh my god, yeah, this one is pretty good. This one is insanely good, you can see. It's pure guile and it's replenishing presence, and on top of that you have 5 dexterity and you have 2 to all attributes. Why is this good for the build? Many aura stackers, especially the necromancer, lack in dexterity. So they will love to have pure guile, for example, because it adds 20 dexterity on top of the reduced mana reservation for purity of ice, and the 5 extra dexterity plus the 2 extra attributes basically add a ton of dexterity to the build, which most of the necromancers, for example, lack. So pure guile and replenish. Okay, so there we go. And this is some of the cluster jewels that actually would sell for, let's say, 4 exalted. I'm not sure if this will sell for 4 exalted. Let me check this offline. One day ago, yep, there is one from yesterday with 3 exalted, which won't sell. So as there is none online today for this amount, and I'd say mine with the extra dexterity is way better than this one, I can put this up for 4 exalted, and if it sells, then well, it's good, and if I'm not selling this, well, it's good too. So I can guarantee that I can sell this one for around somewhere between 2.5 exalted and 3 exalted. That's guaranteed. So that's pretty much profit already. So put this up for 4 exalted, and then we continue with the other. And it took 30 whatever, yeah, not even 30 chaos to get there. So that's pretty good, I guess. So okay, I continue with the other. Just put an alchemy orb on this, and then slam chaos again, and then let's see what we get. Sublime form stalwart commander, uncompromising sublime form, first among equals, and stalwart commander. Let me check my own cluster jewel really quick. Maybe it's better than mine. Oh no, I got the replenishing, which I think is better for my build, but first among equals and stalwart commander. I have to check this. I don't want to roll over something cool. But as I said, first among equals is a relatively common mod. You will relatively easy hit this. Now that's 2 exalted currency selling, I just checked. So just roll over. Replenishing and vengeful would be good last league. Uncompromising pure aptitude. Okay, so now I'm running out of chaos. Doesn't matter too much. Okay, this one is not too bad because it has like a ton of extra aura effect. I'm not sure if this one was the item level 85 and the 84 base, then okay, the base item would be pretty expensive already, but okay, so I just checked the last cluster jewel that I rolled. It has the added passive skills have increased effect, and first among equals. Why is this good? Because this is basically the combination that adds the most aura effect to this item level cluster jewel. All the small passives add like 7 to aura effect, plus the first among equals adds 10, so that's 5 times 7, so it's 35 plus 10, it's 45 increased area aura effect on this cluster jewel, which makes it kind of powerful. And you can see the sell price for this kind of cluster jewel is at 2.3 or 2.5, pretty much. Yeah, I would say 2.4, 2.5. So I will put this up for sale, and for another 2.3 or 2.4 maybe. It's okay, I'd say. It's not too super crazy. I just say it's 2.4. But it's 2.4 exalted, and I have paid, let's say I've paid 1.5 exalted for this cluster jewel. And I had 105 chaos when I started, so I pumped 85 chaos orbs, so 1 exalted. I've spent 1 exalted. The base was 1.5 exalted, so those two added up to cost 2.5 exalted, and this is what I get for 1. Then I bought this one for 1 exalted, So I have costs of 3.5 exalted, and if I sell this, which I will, for at least 3 exalted, and this one for 2 exalted, so adds up as 5, spend 3.5, there you go. That's 1.5x profit in, I'd say, I've talked a lot and all that kind of stuff, but I'd say that was like, let's say, 15 minutes of work for 1.5 exalted profit. And the only thing that I did was right click, shift, left click, left click, left click, left click, left click, left click, left click. Oh, I hit something, cool. So in my opinion, there is no easier way to actually gain some currency back. But of course, disclaimer, I know I had need to say this before I start, but check the prices before you start. Be aware that you might not hit something. Be aware that you might lose something. This is crafting, and it always has a downside. So what I would suggest is that you try to buy the base items as cheap as possible, because the cheaper you can buy them, the better, of course. So those 2 for 1 exalted, I can pretty much try to buy one of these, maybe get one. And if I get one, I can continue the craft. At least I can show you one more. But if I don't, then it's okay. So, but I bought most of my cluster jewels for 1.5 exalted. That's some kind of price where you have to, or you can safely buy them, and then you just slam some chaos orbs on them. And if you're successful, then well, great. And if not, then okay. Then you at least try. At least you tried now. That's of course not good then. But it's kind of like the crafting method that I have showed you before. Back then, the alteration orbs were at 8 per 1C, and this was super safe. You couldn't lose money in this method. In this method that I have shown you right now, of course you can lose money, but if you do this and you feel safe about it, you can, you will profit. I won't guarantee, but you will profit. So basically that's all I wanted to say. And if you enjoyed this small crafting session, which kind of not deserves the name crafting session because it isn't really crafting, it's just slamming chaos orbs, but buy the proper base, buy some chaos orbs if you don't have them, and then try your best to hit something really cool. And there are combinations in there that really sell for a ton of exalteds. I've shown you a couple. I will add the links to the description, and well, that's about it. See you in the next video.